everybody, and welcome to the Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined podcast. I'm your host this week, Hassan. And folks, we have a very unique episode for you. My co-host, Tristan, he's been busy studying magic.
I have been.
And this week,
yes,
he's here to show off his learning. So, Tristan, let's see. What do you got? Is it card tricks? You're going to saw a lady in half? What do we got?
Son, it's thankfully, it is nothing like that.
What do they call it? Mentalist stuff? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, so okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna make you choose number 7. No. Fuck that. No, what I'm talking about is it's not magic tricks per se. What I'm here to discuss, is the higher learning of esoteric magic.
Sorry, esoteric magic?
Exactly. What it means to project your soul upon the universe, son. Have you ever thought about that? What it means to actually be within the universe, the confines of the world that we live in?
Yeah, hey, can you I just need to do something real quick, okay?
Sure.
Sorry. Hey, Karen. Remember how you asked me to contact you if Tristan... Yeah, no, it's happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seems to think he can do esoteric magic. He's talking about like projecting himself or something.
Esoteric magic.
Whatever. Call the police. Okay, yeah. No, I'll do that then. Okay, yeah. No, just wanted to let you know. Okay, great. Yeah.
You know, I heard all of that, right? You didn't mute yourself.
Look, chances are you're crazy enough you'll forget about it in 5 minutes anyway, so it'll be fine.
No, I'm crazy enough to keep that for the rest of my life, locked back there in the back of my head, bringing up every so often. So appreciate the betrayal. But anyway, before the police get here, esoteric magic effectively is how you project upon the world and like the amount of energy you can put into an effort. Such as, hey, you want to do your homework better? Well, if you actually project yourself into your work, you can. If you want to, I don't know, get a raise. Well, if you project yourself mentally into getting a raise, we can make the universe will your way into, I want a raise at work, and you will get that raise. That esoteric magic. Also, it comes with a hefty dose of blood sacrifice. So, yeah.
I don't know. Still seems lamer than seeing, I think it was David Blaine pull a card out of an orange. That was pretty cool.
Okay, I will give you that. David Blaine is pretty cool.
I didn't say David Blaine is cool. I said him pulling a card out of an orange is pretty cool.
Oh.
The guy himself, kind of lame. Let's be real.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, that is true. Or maybe it is. I don't know. He's not... Yeah, you know what? David Blaine's not that cool. But his tricks are weird and interesting. At least when he does a trick. When it's one of those... When it's like survival stunts, I don't give a crap about that.
Yeah, I don't care about those. Those are super lame.
Yeah, me too. It's just... It's dumb. It's dumb. Like, those impress people for some reason, but I don't... It's a spectacle for the area he's in.
I mean, it'd probably be impressive to see it in person, but that's the stuff on camera. That's like, whatever. I don't care. You're doing camera cuts and all this stuff.
When it's on camera, it sucks. But like seeing it in person, though, I think that's cool because it actually evokes like an old style of like carnival magic, when like you would have like the magician in the carnival or whatever go and do these stunts, or the carnival goers would actually do these stunts in the streets to kind of like, promote the show. And you don't really see that a whole lot, because you don't really have to. So it makes sense. But either way, we're not here to talk about David Blaine, I guess, or esoteric magic, because fuck me, well, whatever. I guess you don't want to hear about sigils now, son. Sigils are pretty cool. You would like
They are.
sigils. Yeah. You draw
Carved into my back in that? Sure.
that. No.
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 My chest? Carve them into my chest?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
chest carving's fine.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, the greatest, the best place you could get a sigil is like on the lower back, like above your hip, like a tramp stamp.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
It
if you
draws
say
the
so.
it draws the energy from the tramp stamp up into your body, which then lets you project the sigil deeper into the universe.
Now I'm just thinking about
And-
wizard tramp stamps. So that's funny.
Dude, I've long since been there. When I get a chance in a video game to put tattoos on my character and they're a wizard, they usually are. I will try my best to put a tramp stamp on the wizard because it's funny. I don't care what gender they are.
Look,
It's
Gandalf had a
hilarious.
tramp stamp. That would elevate Lord of the Rings.
Ah, yes, Frodo, look at my sweet tramp stamp. It's a butterfly with a human head upon it. And when I... yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's a cute little buffkin animal. Ooh, helps me create lights from the heavens better. Sure, Gandalf, you fucking crazy guy. Yeah. Anyway, what are we here to talk about this song?
I don't know. You tell me. It's your topic.
Oh, it's true. We're here to talk about magic. Like,
Gathering.
video games. Yeah. And specifically, I'm here to discuss the idea that magic in video games should be more complex and earned. And I'm not saying that there aren't games that already do this. A lot of video games come to mind where they already do. Case in point, the person I can tell there's a person right now. Like, well, what about Noita? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Noita is a game where the magic in that game is very earned, very complex. You can customize everything you do with spellery. And there's another person going, what about Morrowind? Like, yeah, you're right. Also Oblivion. Basically have the same magic system where you can also customize your spells, and the power from those spells are earned. And you can research these things to get better at them. And that's kind of where I'm going, is that Bethesda games, of course, are a lot more mainstream than most of the other games. And something that you will find is that the more indie a game with magic components is, the more interesting the magic system is. Not 100% sure how indie it is, but apparently the Atelier games have a very deep alchemy system, which is impressive to me. You don't see that
I don't know.
whole lot.
I've never played those games because by the time I feel like I heard about them, the subtitles just started to get so dumb. It's like I can't play a game called that where it'd be like Atelier Ririko and the Forest of the Lost Time through Space. And
Yeah.
like, what?
I agree.
Those are like three different concepts. What are you talking about?
This is also like the 10th in a series of like the third game, like the third version of this game in a series of games that they've done. This is the 10th one, so really it's like the 30th game. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. I agree with that. I am enticed by the Atelier series. I do kind of want to check them out, just because I'm curious about that stuff. But I've had a problem for a while where magic in a lot of the games that I play doesn't feel like I am doing much with it. And yes, I'm also including Baldur's Gate 3 in this. and D&D in general, because I think Dungeons and Dragons partly has ruined Magic for a lot of these games, because a lot of games base their Magic systems off of Dungeons and Dragons, which has fancy and casting, which means you can cast a certain number of spells per day, blah 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 blah. Usually it's a certain number of named spells per day. It's like, oh, if I want to cast Fireball, if I have Fireball prepared twice and I want to cast it a third time, I couldn't do that kind of thing. But what D&D actually has done to the video game landscape of Magic is people go like, oh, in Dungeons and Dragons, as long as you are a wizard, or as long as you are a sorcerer or a magic casting class, you can just cast these spells. And you can. And a lot of these classes will actually allow you to just simply cast spells all willy-nilly ad nauseum, and learn them as you go, through just leveling up. And a lot of games work this way. That said, I think a lot of games take the wrong approach from D&D, because there is a aspect of Dungeons and Dragons, which is the wizard, in which, and not a lot of people know this because wizard is not an often played class in Baldur's Gate, as far as I've seen the numbers are anyway, because it's considered like it's not considered a unique enough class to play. But the cool thing with wizard is that you can ape spells by paying a cost and learning them off scrolls into your core spellbook. It's tiptoeing in what I would like, but not totally all the way there, because you don't spend the actual time. In the tabletop RPG Dungeons and Dragons, you do have to spend in-game time to also learn these spells, hours per caster level, basically. And the issue with that is, of course, in a video game, you don't totally want to be like, okay, you got to spend 8 hours learning the spell, which means you got to grind out this spell. Go, idiot. However, in Morrowind and Oblivion, if you want to go back to Bethesda, even though they're a mana-based system, a lot of the ways that they work with casting magic and learning your magical ability is that the more you cast the magic, the better you'll get at it. That's the classic way that the Elder Scrolls games work. And I actually really like the idea of, like, the more you do a thing, the better you'll get at it. Your level will increase in that ability, that skill, which means you will be able to understand and unlock higher level abilities. And I will say Morrowind and Oblivion are the exception in the Elder Scrolls series at this point, because the one everybody latched onto, of course, is Skyrim. And what has Skyrim done? Well, Skyrim has dumbed down the magic system to a point where you must equip your spell per hand. So you can be like, here is my restoration spell. I'm constantly healing myself, and I'm just gonna swing my hammer and kill a guy while I'm healing. Like, that's cool. That works out fine. Sure. And it's like, okay, but I want to get a little more granular with that. What can I do with the spells? Okay, well, you can have the fire spell here. Okay. And then you're going to put the fire spell also to your other hand and shoot 2 fire spells at the exact same time. And it's like, okay, sure. What if I want to, shoot a lightning spell and a fireball spell at the same time? I can do that, right? It's like, yeah, you can, but they don't mix per se. You're not doing anything to make them work. Certain spells you can equip to both hands and make them bigger and better and more badass. However, a lot of them you can't. And you can't just mix and match like that. It doesn't quite allow that flexibility.
Yeah, for me, I think one of the things that's ruined the or not ruined, but you certainly just see far less of it when it comes to those weird sort of not just magic, but like system interactions. One of the famous ones in Morrowind. It's like, oh, if you put a bunch of if you spec your skills right, you can basically create a character who can borderline fly across the game.
Yeah, exactly.
It just feels like, for lack of a better term, but numbers started to matter in games more of like, well, no, we have to put limits on what you can set this skill to. And, we can't let people put these combinations together or they can just one-shot anything in the game. It's like, I kind of get it in the sense of like, well, hey, if you do that, like, people can just cheese their way through a game, and now there's like no difficulty, right? That people could just go online and be like, oh, just use this build, and like the game's super boring and easy because you just win every fight immediately. But I don't know. Like, is that really a situation? I guess like I would point to Claire Obscure, a game that came out this year. People figured out those ways to break it, and they admittedly patched it and didn't completely remove it, but they certainly dropped down how
was less
broken
effective,
certain things were.
Yeah.
But I don't think that ruined the game for anyone. It's the sort of thing where, the people who sought that out knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I did. That's
and like
famously I beat that game.
And I think like that for me is one of the things that's just kind of ruined games is that and it's not just developers. I think it's game players as well. People care so much. In a lot of ways, I blame Destiny for it. How much people just care about numbers in games now. Like that was certainly there well before Destiny.
Good point, actually. Yes, you're
World of Warcraft and MMOs had that stuff. But it feels like Destiny is what just ramped it up. That just people are so obsessive about getting the optimal numbers and the perfect rolls on stuff, and it just feels like that tainted a lot of that. Why you can't have a Morrowind anymore is because people will be going like, oh, well, actually, if you did this, you could be optimized, blah, blah, blah. Cool, man.
Yep.
I play games for fun, not for competition.
Yeah, especially when we're talking like a one-player game, right? Like, here's the thing. I don't mind. I actually think I think it's funny as hell that the Mael Stendhal combo exists in that game, and they patched it a little bit, but not to an extent where it didn't make it viable. It's still a perfectly viable strategy. I did that build post patch, and it is still a shit kicker. Honestly, it like they didn't patch it enough. If their inclination was to patch it to a point where it needed to be like ramped down and thus give players a more balanced experience, they should have nuked that thing into the fucking ground. They didn't, and I appreciate that more because, like, effectively, it's a funny way to play the game. If you find the right things and build Mael, you can put her on the field and just destroy literally everything. And here's the thing. And this is why I think that this is still part of my magic should be complex / earned point, is that if you don't get the correct sword for Mael right away, the Virtuoso, in the tournament fight against, I can't remember her name, the leader of that tribe.
Gorham is in my head, but I don't think that's right.
It's Gore something. But yeah, but if you don't get that sword right away, then you have to do it the hard way, which is fighting her at her strongest, which means you have to actually learn that character, which means, like, for me, it took me maybe 100 attempts to try and take her down, and I got it because I ended up learning the game better and getting really good at the parrying system and figuring out timings. And I felt when I finally had access to this, I felt even more like I deserved this. You know, it's like I had this sword, and now I can finally do the thing that I wanted to do with this build. And I'm like, yeah, let's rock and roll, because now I feel like in comparison, I feel like a level 20 fucking wizard in D&D, where I am ripping out time and space and just doing whatever the fuck I want, and it feels good at this point. And again, it's funny to walk into every battle and press 2 buttons and win the fight, including the final fight. Does it trivialize everything? Absolutely it does. Do I wish I hadn't done that in the final fight? Yeah, I had a good soundtrack.
Yeah, it doesn't, because I think I'm reminded of the approach that generally, and I've never played the game, but I've heard them talk about it. This was quite a while ago now. But the I can't remember the name of the studio, but the Warframe devs have talked about that. Typically, their approach for things when they find a certain build or combination that is broken is, rather than saying, well, okay, we're going to pull back on that, we're going to alter those numbers to drop that down. No, let's raise the numbers on other stuff to bring it up to that level. And you don't like always want to do that, because, you know, then you're getting into like just crazy power and number creep that, you know, gets ridiculous. That, hey, this game where maybe it started out that, oh, characters can do 1,000 damage, now they're doing 10 million damage because we kept having to turn the knobs up. So it's not that you should never drop it down, but I think Clair Obscur is a good example where it feels like they themselves found these weird builds, because anytime I see people posting about online, it's always people being like, no, my build was the best build. You don't understand the ways I broke that game and created a thing where, it trivialized all the enemies. Because like for me, I made a build where basically I was just, I forget what they were called, but it would just be like fire stacks. So I would just focus on not directly hitting the enemy for a whole lot of damage and just going, no, I'm casting fire on you. So that when it triggered, it would be like, oh, that just did, 30, 40,000 damage to you because it procced. And then I would just have Lune healing my guys. So I would just be sitting there being like, oh, I'm literally casting what should be this piddly spell. But because the way it's stacking, it just does ridiculous damage. I'd see other people doing like, no, you don't understand. You got to use this character to debuff, and then you hit with this, and it does a gajillion damage. And that's kind of another thing where, it seems like in video games, they're kind of afraid of like, oh, this one thing seems broken. It's like, cool. You should make all the other stuff feel broken too.
I feel the same way. So like, here's the thing. And I think they kind of did. So I just looked it up. So it's the Medallum sword and the Golgras who you got to fight to get it. And the thing I did with Mael to get that is actually what you did with, which is like stacking fire damage and doing the fire stacks. That's the best way to like defeat Golgra in that tournament I found. So I just basically did Mael's all of her fire moves, which really helped me take her down. And of course, like breaking her was a very, very fucking important thing. And that was so goddamn important. And just like really timing it to basically break her and have like the right amount of fire damage ready to go. Oh man. Anyway, it's that kind of stuff, and I agree with you entirely that like, so being allowed to break the game like that should be a thing you can earn. And I think Claire Obscure does a great job of letting you do that, because like you can do it with Mael. Lune has an option for it too. So does Shiel. Like her card shit. I've definitely one shot at dudes with her like tarot card stuff, with her like sun moon flipping thing, in a few instances. And it's like, this is, I can see where the power of that is. I just didn't necessarily want to play with her. And Verso, basically I found a way to stack him like I do the way I play Chrono Trigger, which is stacking all the speed onto Chrono and having him just always going. This is like, he never has not as a turn. And Verso was able to be like, okay, Verso, you are just going all the time. In fact, he has the one sword that lets him repeat his turn if he just ends with basically a basic attack. So he gets 2 turns, which means you can basically dump all your shots into a guy, do a basic attack, which then lets you with the right upgrades, you can basically get that into when he attacks. The amount of times he attacks times with a multiplier gets that much AP back, which then means on his second turn he can effectively do all of his crazy shit. And it's just like, yeah, you can. And I've dealt massive damage in that way. And the fact that this game allows you to do that is something that I wanted to highlight as well. So I'm glad you touched on that. And to kind of bring it back a little bit to, and I would consider that, of course, with Claire Obscure being the thing is, even though these are maybe skills, but or whatever, this is still magic you're mostly using for all these. Being able to rip open time and space to deal void damage, I think is pretty magical. Even if you are using a sword to do that, effectively every character besides Lune is some form of like magic knight, and Lune is just basically a full-on wizard. So yeah. We're going with this. So yeah. So quickly, just back to Bethesda games, because like I said, they had the right thing, and it's to a point where in Skyrim they dumbed it down so much that basically they made being a mage just kind of lame and boring. And everybody realized that, and most of the ways people play through the mage college missions are just to go in with a sword and start killing guys that way, and not dealing with any magical based solutions. But you flip that with Oblivion, which just got the remaster this year. People have realized, like, holy shit, why did we like Skyrim so much when Oblivion, even though it looked the way it looked, which was not very good even back in the day when it came out.
Everyone loves early 360 fuzziness is the only way I could put it.
It's very fuzzy. Also the faces, which I'll be honest, I kind of love the old faces because they look real bad in a funny way.
It's retro now.
It's retro now. But when Oblivion got the remaster this year, I've seen a lot of sentiment going like, why did we like Skyrim so much when Oblivion clearly had everything Skyrim had, but they made the magic system just way better. Like, it had a crazy better magic system because you can mix and match your spells. You can do stuff with the magic. Be like, okay, yeah, this is a spell. You figured out a way to cast this spell that gives you 1 million speed because they let you break the game with the spells, and like that, and they didn't hold your hand in doing that stuff. They didn't go like, mix this, and this, and you can break your game. They went like, yep, it's a possibility, because if you were a powerful wizard, yeah, you should be considered powerful enough to basically, yeah, turn yourself into the fucking Flash. Why wouldn't you be? I still remember, there's the, in Morrowind, there's the classic, like, as you're walking towards the first main city, the wizard falls out of the sky and he dies, and he has the boost of jumping and that kind of thing. I still remember that basically there's a way to do it and angle yourself where you can jump and just not go up you go forward, which means you don't take any fall damage when you land because you're on the same plane of horizontal like distance, of vertical distance. So you're always at 0 per se, but you've jumped and you're going this way. You're just jumping that way instead of like up and that way. Which means effectively you are skimming the ground for like however far that ends up being. And I remember when it landed, it set my my jump immediately at max. It's like, hey, whoa, yeah, no, you're good at jumping now. Don't worry, you're the best jumper in the world. It's like, perfect.
Yeah. Morrowind's great. Just like, I did this thing and it thinks that it counts towards that, and all of a sudden I've jumped 20 levels and I shouldn't have, but I'm not complaining.
No, exactly. And like that's why those games are still lauded. Yes, Morrowind looks like a bag of ass compared to everything that came even back then. But the play style of that game, especially in the magic, it lets you do this stuff. Especially it lets you enchant magic items to do these things for you. It let you it lets you create spells and do strange things with the magic. It lets you, you can summon a monster that basically just like dies in immediately, and that causes an explosion that does this, and this. It's like, yeah, you can just mix and match all this stuff because why not? Just do it because you are a wizard and you should be doing this stuff. And it's disheartening to me when a lot of like more mainstream games, and Baldur's Gate is included in this, they go like, okay, you are a wizard / spellcaster. Fantastic. When you press this button, you cast spells. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I get the aspect of spellcasting. It is there, but this is effectively the same thing as like if I had a gun. You've turned spells and magic and like learning the secrets of the universe into, I have a pistol, now I have a shotgun, now I have blah blah blah. I'm looking at you at Immortals of Avium, which I don't think
played that game.
It's I don't think it's a necessarily bad game or anything, but it's the example I'm holding at this point as a not the way to do it.
No. It is absolutely, your magic is just a gun.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with Ghostwire Tokyo, which I really wanted to get into that game because I love the idea of like, okay, you hold your hand in a different way and that causes the magic to disperse in a different way. Like now we're doing wind, now it's fire, now it's whatever it is, you kind of like hand jive your way into a magical spell. But it is effectively you are shooting a guy with your gun hand, and now it's a shotgun hand, and it's like, okay, whatever.
That game I did actually like, but I agree.
It had a cool idea.
Magic system not particularly good.
Yeah, the stuff that was good with the magic system was like, okay, when you're doing like magically based puzzles and that kind of thing, which are more like, okay, now you have to like kind of, it's like a like magic hacking in a way, which I think works fine. I think like hacking mini games as like, if you take a hacking mini game and effectively turn that also into a magic based mini game, I think that works well enough that I do feel that like I am actually like tearing apart this this effect and dispelling this and like changing this to make sure that works in a way for me. Yeah, I think that works out fine enough. But like, yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo, unfortunately, just the main combat magic gameplay. While I kind of agree where it makes sense, like as a mage, why wouldn't you have a quick spell you can just kind of fling out, And I get that.
They're called cantrips, Tristan.
A cantrip, yes. Why wouldn't you have your firebolt? Why wouldn't you have your eldritch blast? That kind of thing. Your poison spray. Everybody loves poison spray. But yeah, why wouldn't you have those things? And I kind of agree. Like, yeah, you should have like a small thing like that. Like, yeah, you can just kind of whip out and blah. Now it's there. But at the same time, like, I feel as if magic should be more impactful than that. If it's just dealing the same amount of damage as, like, yeah, I shot that guy and that dealt 10 damage. Well, I hit him with a bolt of fire that I conjured from midair. I literally drained the moisture from an area to create heat in my hand, and blasted it at this guy, and that also dealt 10 damage. Like, you might as well just use a gun, especially because it's usually a singular target. So the problem there is like, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything different than, yeah, drawing a pistol and shooting a guy, and that kind of sucks. So I think that when I think about this, though, I think back to my favorite instance of a wizard with a gun, which is a book series, the Dresden Files series, where you have your main character, Harry Dresden, and he's a detective and a wizard. And yes, he can totally throw a spell out in the air. He's got a ton of magic. He's actually a very accomplished wizard, but he does walk around with a gun as well, because it's just faster for him to draw this and blast a guy. Which means, though, that when he like shoots fire out of his hands, it's way more impactful. And I also bring that back to TTRPGs in the Mage series. Like White Wolf is a company that made Mage / Vampire the Masquerade, the one everybody knows. And in Mage, the magic you have to be careful with, because there's a banality system, where a belief system where if you cast magic in front of people, you can actually like glitch your magic and it will either not work or the effect will backfire on you. So you have to kind of like make your magic work in ways that will be like, okay, I don't just shoot a fireball at this guy. I'm going to like reach into the ground and make the pipes burst beneath them, which are going to erupt in a gaseous ball of flame. It's like, okay, yeah.
Oh, great. Cool, Tristan. Now I can't cook dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. I still like the story of, like, I conjured a basketball size ball of hydrogen. Classic Mage story. Not sure if you've ever heard
Do
this.
you have to destroy the pipes in the ground? I needed that for my stove.
No. The beautiful thing with this story is basically they're in a gunfight. And the players is like, okay, I'm gonna conjure a basketball-sized ball of hydrogen. It's just gonna look like a black ball. And the GM's like, okay, what are you gonna do with that? I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna chuck it. It's like, okay. So he stands up, and then basically as he's preparing to do that, somebody shoots the ball of hydrogen in his hand. And I mean, no matter what, if once it impacted, it was going to erupt into, a city leveling explosion. Yeah. And they're in Chicago. So yeah. It's a classic Mage story. And this one is like, okay, you can definitely do these things, but here are the consequences. And it took this guy a long time to learn how to do this. He didn't just pick this. He wasn't level 1. Well, there's no levels per se in Mage, but still. Point is, it took him a long time to learn this kind of thing. So when he does this, it's a big deal. And on top of that, note the fact that they were in a gunfight first. So in Mage, like, your first instance in combat is not necessarily going to be, I cast a spell, because if you're up against foes that don't know magic exists, it might fail. So you're shooting them first, or fighting them first in some other way. Or you're enhancing yourself in a way that will actually, like, be effective in combat. And that kind of leads into stuff like Forspoken. So I wanted, when Forspoken came out, everybody knows what Forspoken, the Square Enix game with the black lady who has all the snide, quippy remarks, and she talks to her cuff called Cuff, and ends up being annoying, unfortunately, because the writing is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about that game is bad except for the combat,
Yes.
where shockingly gets good.
Yeah.
5-6 hours in.
Yeah, that's the thing. It unfortunately for me, it doesn't go far enough, but it is good. It feels pretty snappy and fun. The movement system is like that's the real cake for me, man. Like that shit. Like when I gave that a try, I was just like, okay, sit down and give Forspoken a shot. I want to see what this game is about because everybody either hates it or tentatively loves it, but not for the reasons that the game wants you to love it for. You know? So I gave it a shot. It's like, okay, you move awesome. Like that's the best part of that game is that getting from point A to point B is just so good. And the combat feels pretty fluid and fun. And it feels enough like I'm like sitting like there casting a bunch of spells and being a goddamn wizard that it feels kind of complex. But here's the problem with Forspoken. I have to look more into it. It's all just skill tree stuff, which is one thing, but I don't feel like I'm investing anything really. Like it's like, okay, I'm just gonna like now I have like experience enough to now I can unlock the ice spell, like the blizzard spell. Great, but like you know, I can that's nice and all, but I don't feel like I really earned that experience. I just kind of participated in the combat. I didn't research anything. I didn't really do anything that practices the ice spell. The like doing blizzard. I actually was mostly using fire magic. So I don't know where there's no real connect here, but this is the next part of the path. So I just had to go with this one, I guess. And that had me thinking a while back that I keep thinking that I keep coming back to the kind of old games that have magic systems. And even though I don't have as much love for this game as everybody else does, Final Fantasy VII had a really good magic system when it comes to like earning your magic like through the materia system. I know people don't necessarily love it as much, but think about this: you are investing your materia into eventually getting like points for your characters, or effectively like dropping your materia into like slot. Like hey, now I know how to like access fire and ice magic, or now I can access like lightning magic, stuff like that. But in doing so, you're not just like granted immediate access to it. Now you get to like actually go through and learn these spells. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Now it kind of like gives me the, of course it's an illusion of this stuff, but it gives me the feeling that I am actually sitting down and kind of mapping out how I want to become a wizard and what I'm learning and how I'm learning it and that kind of stuff. So despite its flaws, it's a good system.
Well, and I think a difference too there is like the difference between Final Fantasy VII and Forspoken is that Forspoken it's very easy to reach the end of a skill tree to go, okay, I've got these, I forget the number, but like 5 different fire spells, and I can get them each to level 3, and then it's done. Whereas like in Final Fantasy VII, and it's been a long time, so I don't fully remember it, but from what I recall, it's sort of a like, well, yeah, you could like technically max out this electricity path. But you're really speccing your character to only go down that because you're not going to have many skill points for another thing. And what you were saying earlier about Forspoken, like, I think that's a big difference is that most games these days don't really want to let you go down a very specific, okay, we're going to let you put like way too many points into this path if you really want to, but boy, are you going to be lacking in other places, so maybe don't do this.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like a lot of games are like, wait, you want to like min-max into this one thing? Good luck, idiot. Like, no, hold on. Like let me try this, and if it sucks, I should have the option to roll it back. Like, come on. Like, yeah, don't. Sure, if you're like, yeah, I went heavy into lightning damage, but it turns out literally everything at the end of the game is resistant to it. Yeah, okay. Give me an out. Sure. Great. Thanks for the option. Like, Baldur's Gate gives you the option to respec. So is Clear Obscure, that kind of stuff. You know, I think respecing your character is a good, especially in an RPG. You should be allowed to do that at most points of the game. Hard locking your character into you are this too fucking bad. That sucks. I know a lot of older CRPGs did that, and I think it's fine, but like it's 2025. We can we can open that up. Not a big deal. You know, leave it open. Like if you want to respec, hey, no worries. You fucked this up, hey, no worries, respec. Even in TTRPGs, a lot of DMs and GMs, like, hey, if you're like, hey, I'm not having fun with my character because I went down this path, and it turns out this sucks, they'd be like, all right, cool, let's change it up.
Oh, too bad. Your character's dead, you gotta make a new one now.
That's fine, too.
Starting at level 1.
Ooh. Ooh, that's harsh.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, that's the thing. So like I feel like there's definitely an aspect of that. There are aspects of more modern games that I think that the magic there should be respect if you are just not having fun with it. That's a big part of it too. But I guess, yeah, in conclusion, for the most part, I just feel as if a lot of games, especially in like the more like AAA space, I guess, they don't necessarily do a good job with depicting how magic is earned and how complex it could be. It always just kind of feels basic, as in like, you know, you press the X button and you cast a spell. You press this button and you cast a slightly bigger spell. And there's also usually an ult, and the ultimate usually is on both sticks, etc.
Yeah,
not wrong. Usually it's both sticks. Yeah, and it's just I just wish that people would get away from like the complete standardization of all these things and just kind of like do something a little more creative. Like Dishonored, I think, is a great balance of that stuff. Like the magic in that game, it's unique enough in its effect that even though it is a fairly basic skill tree system, I don't feel as if I'm like, I feel like when I get to like the more interesting like magic abilities, I'm not disappointed by the fact that I got there in a basic way, because they're so unique to that world that I think it works really well. So, but if I'm playing Dishonored and like my thing is like, yeah, now you can shoot a fireball, I don't give a shit. Yeah, fireball is great and all, unless the fireball is like really good in this game and it feels awesome to hit, I don't give a crap. But like being able to like jump into the body of somebody and then like turn into rats and like summon rats to eat a guy, that's wild. Yeah, I want those powers. Fuck yeah, I want to eat a guy with rats. Yeah, I'm going to be that fish. I'm that fish now. Fuck yeah. That kind of thing. Or like the
Tristan Crane, I'm that fish.
I'm that fish now.
We're going to put on your gravestone.
Pretty much. Yeah, like there are ways to make a basic progression system still feel interesting, and that's by just using a little imagination in these games, and giving me a little more something besides, yeah, you can shoot fire, you can call down lightning, and this is kind of the reason why I used to go like full necromancer in a lot of these games when it was an option, because being able to summon skeletons is interesting. But I'm at a point now where like that's starting to feel rote and not interesting enough anymore either, because everybody has the basic progression of that. Even like Path of Exile 2, which has technically pretty good necromancy, just feels like, yeah, I press button, I summon skeleton, and then I pop a hex off, and okay, I'm good. It's like, I don't know. It's just starting to all kind of blend together. And maybe we can do something a little more interesting. Like, different kinds of skeletons are in Path of Exile, which is interesting. It's like, yeah, you can summon this one, which is a mage. This one's a warrior. That guy's an archer. He does these kind of abilities, and you can, make them do certain things when you command them. And, like, that's fun and interesting, sort of, until you realize it's, same kind of thing most other games do. Yeah, I just want a little more complexity and creativity out there when it comes to Magic, especially.
I'm with you. Anything else you want to say then, or is that your final thought?
That's my final thought, unless you have anything you want to say.
No, good. Well, on that note, I guess, why don't you tell Penn and Teller to go suck it? I mean, tell people where to find us.
Fuck you, Penn and Teller. Yeah.
Libertarian losers.
Yes. Although I do like their show. Fullest is a lot of fun. It's good. It's a good show.
Oh, great entertainers. They suck as actual people.
Yeah, I agree with that. Are they full libertarian now? I think they pulled that back, maybe.
Maybe they did. I don't pay that much attention to them.
Yeah, I haven't looked at them in a while. I still actually watch a lot more other magicians on YouTube. I actually have wanted to learn like actual like close-up magic with coins and that kind of stuff, but I don't have the dexterity in my hands anymore, so.
Oh yeah, I got dumb fingers, so yeah, I'm terrible at it.
I haven't played guitar in a long time either, and my finger dexterity is like, it's getting kind of rough because of the carpal tunnel. So all those years
to heal you up,
pretty much. Anyway, I guess I can tell you where to go. Straight to hell. No, you can go to our Blue Sky, which is at EIFNAR. Go there, and if you want to like also tell Penn and Teller to suck it, you can use our platform to do so.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Go to our Spotify and iTunes pages. Leave a review, rate us something. Tell your friends about us. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. It will actually make you feel better. That's the kind of magic that you can't put a price on. It will, in fact, cure your syphilis.
I don't think we can promise that.
Oh. It might cure your syphilis.
Oh, okay, great.
Legally
covered.
Yeah. But just syphilis, though. Just an FYI. No other diseases. I got that one, I think, maybe.
It's better than none, so.
Better than none, yeah. I was hoping for IBS, but no, I couldn't get the curative rights to IBS. I think a lot of people would like that one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's too bad. Anyway, share the show with your friends. They would like probably also their syphilis cured. I'm sure a lot of people's friends have syphilis.
Yeah.
It's got to be the case. I imagine
it's definitely not zero.
Anyway, just go to our friends over at DJDane.com. This guy that does our music, DJDane.com. Go to listen to his great music, and just if you're there and you want to, if you have an inkling to learn true spellcraft, go to the highest mountain on the planet, and then shout out his domain, the entire thing, the HTTPS, everything. and then eventually you'll be whisked away to his like wizard tower, where he will teach you the horrible truths of the universe.
Okay, all right, that's good of him.
Yeah, right. Anyway, that is it for our show. Tune in next time for another editorial episode of Everything is Fine Is Ruined.
See ya.
See ya.
Say it.